House of Light. We'd like to apologize. We had a little technical difficulty. We were not streaming on one platform, so we got that reconciled. Praise Yah. So again, welcome to the Keepers of the House of Light. Hey, brother, it's good seeing you. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, brother, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Hey,
Shabbat Shalom, Uriah. Hey, I just gave a handshake to a special guest today. He came out to join us on this Sabbath. And before I go any further, I want to just introduce the brother, or let him introduce himself, and we'll go from there.
Praise Yah. I'm Hoshea ben Yehuda Israel. I've been in this truth for about 17 years, studied under Elder Priest Yaakov ben Israel, Elder Issac ben Yehuda Israel, and Elder Yosef ben Israel. And I'm just happy to be here. I have a very high regard for these brothers that I'm with, so I praise Yah for the opportunity to sit down, study with them, and observe the Sabbath and just fellowship with my brothers.
Oh,
so
man,
thanks
praise
for having
Yah,
me,
man. Praise Yah, man.
Praise Yah.
Hey, we're glad you're here, and definitely glad to see you again.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's a blessing. And it's reach on over there, brother. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But you know, the beauty of that, brother, when you laid out where you have studied under this this truth 17 years, and I said something before we went live that when around this table, we are the keepers of the house of light. You know, that's what it's all about. It's about those who keep that light that the Father spoke, and He spoke into the world and created everything. And He sent that word, and that light was in the world through His Son, Yahshua HaMashiach. So that's what this is all about: keeping that light, being obedient to that light, because that light has life eternal, and we got eternal life dwelling in us. So you know, it's a blessing. But I want to, again, brother, or Elder Hosea, I'm glad to have you here. And I want to go ahead and, as we normally do, let's go around and introduce ourselves. Brother?
Hey, I'm Uriah ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
And again, my name is Yehuda ben Israel, and we are the Keepers of the House of Light. And we're glad that everyone is tuned in to participate in this Sabbath class discussion. In today's class, we're going to continue on from last Shabbat. The class is entitled today, From Abraham to Isaac, the Covenant, Part 2. Again, from Abraham to Isaac, the Covenant, Part 2. Now we're going to pick up today's class beginning in the book of Genesis, chapter 26. So you'll know where we are. We're going to start. That's where we're going to begin the class, picking up from last Sabbath. But before we go into our class discussion, I'm going to turn it over to Elder Uriah so we can properly begin our class.
Hey, thank you, my elder. I would like to start, with the Shema. And the Shema can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Yeah. Let me start with verse 4. Are you there yet, my brother?
I'm here.
Okay. Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one other name, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. That's the Shema. And we try our best to read the Shema each and every day, with the Spirit that the Most High have given unto us. Knowing that the Shema, the meaning of the Shema is we have to hear. Hear what? Hear the commandment, the statute, and the judgment. Right. Everything, pertaining to the Most High Yahweh.
That's right.
Yeah, we have to listen to these words. Not to let it, go through one ear and go and come through the other. We have to let it process in between both ears.
Got that right, brother.
Yeah. And also, the Messiah magnified the Shema also, which we're going to go to in a second, in the book of Matthew, chapter 22. And we're going to just go ahead and read it, verse 37 through 40. Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
Okay.
39. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the laws and the prophet. Well, praise the Messiah for those, word of wisdom at all times. He magnified the law. Yeah. Didn't come to change anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, he also, in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, we're going to go there and I'll read verse 20.
Okay.
Verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Praise God. Praise God.
Yes.
Knowing that the Aaronic priesthood, the Leviticus priesthood, is set aside for a minute or two until he returned. So, with him saying that, it helped us out. Now, it's not one tribe anymore, but it's 12 tribes. We are priests of the Most High, through the Mashiach. And wasting no time, let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 58. Sorry about that. We're going to be picking it up reading from verse 13 through 14.
Okay.
Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call my Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then thou shalt delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank you, Brother Uriah, for reading those introductory scriptures, statements from the scriptures and from the gospel. And because it's imperative that we just don't read it every Sabbath. Just like, and we start this Sabbath service, is we want to make sure you hear Shema, hear, listen. Yahweh's one. He's not 3 or 4. He's one. And we have to focus on that. And his son sensitized it so eloquently in Matthew 22 that you just read. Put everything in those 2 verses. Just laid it out. On these 2, in both the law and the prophets.
Praise yeah.
And how could he do that so eloquently? And so precise. And he was talking to those Pharisees, so to let them understand, the lawyers, what this thing is about. What's the greatest commandment? Why you don't have to search around, brothers. It's already written. You don't have to find out it's already in the book. So I think, excuse me for my thing going off here. I thought I turned it off. But, brother, when you went over, Brother Uriah, when you went over Isaiah 58, I love hearing that, because what it says, verse 13, if you turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on thy holy day, right? Your pleasure, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. And in verse 14, he said, you're going to get a blessing. That's a blessing. You're going to what? Ride upon the high places of the earth and feed thee and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, your father, our father, for the mouth of Yahweh have spoken it. See, you can't outdo like Yahweh.
No, sir.
Well, I don't want to do, but Uriah, I think we had a conversation, and you know where I'm going, I think. And maybe Obi as well. And Brother Hosea, you jump right in. But this is something I saw something on one of the social medias. Maybe y'all saw it, and they were talking about sexual relations on the Sabbath.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
I
saw that.
We need to go there.
Yeah, I want to go there. I want to before we, you know. So, but I want to put a pinhole. Let me put a note real quick. I want to put a pinhole right there, guys. But I want to take a pen in because I want to cover this. I want to make sure everybody's viewing gets to hear what we're trying to do here with the keepers of the house of light. The keepers of the house of light are dedicated to spreading the righteousness, love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through his Son, Yahshua the Messiah, the Lamb of Yahweh, right? The King of Israel, the High Priest, and, praise Yah, our Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. And what we're here today to do is to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yahshua, who magnifies the law of Yahweh, as my brother Uriah has just stated. That's what Yahshua does. He's made this thing righteous because we couldn't walk in the law totally righteous. Our fathers stumbled and failed, but he came. He's doing it.
What did they do, Ezra? They declared that they in Yahweh's eyes they were righteous when they kept the law, when they would offer up that sacrifice, but it did nothing to purge their conscience.
They purge the conscience.
So we see that they repeated the same foolishness over and over, and they made themselves filthy.
Whoa!
So they had no conscience.
No conscience.
Things that they were doing.
And just go through and bring that animal sacrifice out. If that.
If that.
If they did that.
Now suppose he was rich.
Okay.
How did they deal with that?
Oh, I guess you had enough of the proper sacrifices based on your station.
Right.
You're good. Now, if you were poor, you got to find you a turtle dove or pigeon, you know. So to bring to have that sin covered. But I think they got your brother. I think someone I want to step away. Just make sure because we are nothing here is scripted. But I want to go back and say. I said put a pen note in the thing when I was reading out of Isaiah 58, verse 13, and I thought about this thing I saw about having sexual relations on the Sabbath of Yahweh. I said, well, and you know, brothers, the way I heard it, you know, they put some stuff about sexual healing and try to pin it. They try to pin it into that's a if you're a man and you are in a ditch per se on the Sabbath and your wife, y'all should go ahead and have relations. And I'm assuming now they didn't say wife, but we're saying wife, husband and wife now. Let's make that clear. Right. But it is the Sabbath, so I want to put that out there, but I want to let my brother. If you want to say anything, I want to make sure our guest has an opportunity. If you want, what do you think about that? And we're just reading out Isaiah 58, but I want to make sure. I want, if anything, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm sorry, Jose. but I want based on what we know.
Praise Yah. No, I actually did see that, and it was very disturbing as it was coming from Hebrew brothers from a camp. And this was their way of justifying, satisfying the flesh, and that's the whole battle. The battle is learning to control, deny this flesh so that we can walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. And so it was very disturbing to hear. I'm glad you're touching on it for anyone who did hear it. This is the best, this is the right scripture for that. That just explains that totally, not doing our own pleasures on his Shabbat. And to honor his Shabbat in righteousness. So.
Hallelujah. Go ahead, brother Uriah. I know you got something.
No, I'm just looking at the law. What the law say about it?
Okay.
With those guys saying that, they're telling us to push the law to the side and do what written on our heart, our fleshly heart.
Right.
But I would like to read just one verse.
Where you want to go?
Leviticus 15.
Okay. And this is something that, brother, Hosea, like all these things, man. This is the time is running short. We're on if you don't see what's going on around here now, you're in the midst of pestilence, worldwide pestilence. It's a rumor, but now it is a fact. It's a war. It went from a rumor to a war, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So Leviticus 15, brother, you right?
Yeah, 15. I'll pick it up at verse 16.
Okay. I need to get my Bible.
Take your time, brother.
Okay.
That's what Elder O'Shea said. This is very, very disturbing, man. That these brothers, they studied the law, just like we brothers, and the keepers of the house of life.
Right.
We study the law. We need to follow the law. That's right. That's the reason why we read the Shema every Shabbat.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. The Shema is telling you to listen. Hear the law and listen. Do not let it go through one ear and come through the other. Well, let's keep it moving. Verse 16. We're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 15. I'm going to pick it up at verse 16. And if any man's seed of crepulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even.
Okay. And
every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of crepulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until even. The woman also, with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until even.
Okay.
Yeah. No, look at what the law said. You are unclean. You want to tell me you're going to go into the place of worship, which you sanctify. The Spirit allows you to sanctify. You're going to do this to the Most High?
I don't think that's what they're saying, Elder. They took the law, right?
Right.
They say, okay, if your ox is in a ditch, then you can do this on the Sabbath. So they're saying, I'm in need. Basically, I'm lusting, I'm desiring, and I'm in a ditch. So I'm gonna need you to satisfy this, and that justifies you do it. They're not trying to go to the to a sanctified.
Right. Yeah. Just gonna do that.
Yeah. I'm in a ditch.
I'm gonna do this.
You need to do this because you're my wife.
Well,
it's no different, Elder, than them. They go ahead, Elder. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying they're in a ditch all their life, man, because they misinterpret what the book say. In the book, when the Mashiach talking about, the Mashiach not going to tell you to break the law.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Peter mentioned that. Peter said, "Don't use your liberties for the lust of the flesh."
That's right.
And that is, so we do have liberties with Yeshua, but those are liberties to help. He said it's good to do good on the Sabbath day. So there's certain times you may go to do good, but to, again, sex that's fleshly. That's about satisfying your flesh. That has nothing to do with the spirit nor with Yah, especially on this holy day. So the brothers are just totally out of line. Definitely needed to be addressed because, there's some young Israelites just coming into this word that can get confused by those things. You have to be very conscious of really what you put out there, and it really needs to follow the law and follow this book.
And I think that's the point. Because you go to the law, Uriah, and now it's telling you that law covers us from head to toe, right? It tells you how, so you won't present yourself.
That's right.
In an unclean manner before your Elohim. But then you're trying to use the what? You're just saying, man, they kind of use the gospel of the Mashiach to justify something.
As a crutch. They're using the law as a crutch, man. You see the reason why y'all have to kick us out of the land, man?
It is,
Elder, when you say that, I look at that and I looked at, I saw a video. My daughter had a friend of hers who, I guess she was trying to share the word with her. Right. And so this sister not in the word or anything. And so they got videos surfaced on YouTube. This was a while back. And these brothers talking about, well, I was take, basically they justifying rape. Okay, these brothers want to rape people. So I'm going to take them and make them my wife. And then they go into the story about when the Benjamites were almost killed off as a tribe, and how they had to go take wives. So they justify, they use it. These brothers have an issue within their flesh prior to coming to Yahweh. Exactly. And now they come to Yahweh's word, and they've been emboldened, and they use the word to justify the wickedness that's already in their heart, that they can so they can fulfill that lust anyway.
Praise y'all.
That's what they're doing, and there's a spirit of pedophilia amongst them.
Oh,
man. It's wickedness.
It's a wicked spirit.
And it's amongst Hebrew brothers who know the word.
Right. Well, the prophet said there are wicked men among my people.
Yes.
So I think that, go ahead, I'm going to cut y'all. Oh, well,
no,
I can't
yeah, brother,
you're right.
You know what, brother? I'm glad to, make it here,
Thank you, brother. Our brother, we're not scripted. Our brother's going to have to, you can move if you want to come over. Is it better? Thank you, brother. Shabbat Shalom. And but again, we're not scripted. Our brother is had to step out. But praise Yah that he was able to lay that out. About what he said is wickedness, and what we have to understand, like you said, brother Hosea, it is putting, you got young impressionable people, men and women, who that the Yahweh has given them a spirit, the Most High given them a spirit to seek after His truth, and they get caught up, and these become traditions. And when you look at Isaiah 58, that's why the Spirit gave us to present this. Now, that's your pleasure. Mm-hmm. You're not a beast. You're a man. Mm-hmm. You're a woman. That's right. You're supposed to be a holy people if you're in this truth. So you're not an animal. An animal operates on instinct. Mm-hmm. That's why Yahweh said, just wait till sundown, brother and sister. Now, if you're married, the marital bed is not defiled. Right. But Yahweh said, well, you can provide what it was termed benevolence to your wife or to your husband. That's right. On sundown. That's right. You're not that, like an animal. But those things set up traditions. Right. And I want to go to Matthew. Before we get in our class, but these is just the spirit. These are some of the topics. Let's go to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, and I want to, and I think you're going to be familiar with this. And we're going to see how when we let men start laying out and setting up standards beyond the law, as it's written, we get these problems. And so, my brother, if you don't mind, would you just start reading in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, and we're going to just go. I think that kind of flows a little bit. Yeah, what we've been talking about.
Praise it. Verse 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 1.
Verse 1. Then came Yeshua, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the traditions of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
Okay.
But he answered and said unto them, Why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your traditions? For Elohim commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But you say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free.
Okay.
Thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Let's pause right there. I'm going to keep on going, but I want to pause. Now, you see, when you're out here, brother, you use the term liberty. Y'all always giving us liberty, Obadiah, right? Through Yeshua HaMashiach and the churches that was set up. But now, you can set up traditions, and those traditions can mislead people.
That's right.
Because they're dependent on you. If you're teaching this book, right?
That's right.
You talking out of this book. The sheep are before you. Now, you might have a tradition. And the Pharisaic sects and the scribes that came on the scene at the period, they were the heroes of Israel. They put the law back in place. But you're looking at maybe 500, 600 years from the book of Malachi to the gospel. That's right. Now you see they've established some additional things, right? And you read it, first thing you said, by washing You know, why do what is it? Verse 2, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But Yeshua, the son of Elohim, the Messiah, the anointed one, he just broke it down.
That's right.
He just broke it down and said, hold on now. You talk about your traditions.
Right.
Let's talk about the commandments of your Father.
Exactly.
You want to keep your traditions. You want to keep the things you want to do.
Right.
And we got to be careful. This is in different churches, but particularly those who are Messianic Jews like us who believe in the Mashiach are of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, it's very serious for us. So the Yeshua just broke it down as you were reading, and it's just saying, you're making Yahweh's law of non-effect.
That's right.
About your traditions. If he say don't sleep with a woman, don't, you know, when he say keep his holy day, keep his Sabbath holy,
That's right.
did he mean it just sometime, brother?
So no, he made a mistake. He said he understands. You know, he understands your flesh. This is what I guess this is the voice that they're hearing saying, no, Yahweh understands. Yeah, he understands. You don't want to do what he tells you to do. So he will give you that spirit, and he said, I will lead you away with the workers of the iniquity.
That's right.
You seem like how you don't want to keep my law anyway.
Right.
You like this? He'll dangle it right in front of you. Go on and do that thing.
Don't
Seem
do
like
it.
how that's what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man, you hit it on the head. What you just read. Hypocrites. And he said, you're a hypocrite.
That's right.
And Isaiah said, this is the Mashiach calling you hypocrite. I'm not calling you out of your name, but we got the hypocrisy. You know, we got to be careful.
That's right.
You know, you say one thing and do another. But then in the same breath, you're going to accuse another brother of doing X.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I don't know, is that camera out? The camera? Are we good? We good? We are good? But that's the thing, man. And so when you're reading that, let's listen. You know, let's say, Shema, here. But go ahead, would you read 8 again and keep reading, my brother.
Okay.
Read it to 20.
All right. Verse 8. St. Matthew chapter 15, verse 8. This people draweth near unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines of commandments of me.
Okay.
And he called the multitude and said unto them, Hear and understand.
Praise God.
Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, Knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, Every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up.
Okay.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
That's what led me to the spirit. You better be careful who your teachers, because if they blind, they're gonna have you. You're gonna lead you into the ditch, and and they have to give an account for you falling into the ditch. Because praise God, we've been in this word, you know, a good while.
That's right.
You know, this brother been in the word. This brother been in the word. Brother Uriah been in this word. We've been taught. See, we've been taught. You know, no matter what you want to say, we have been taught. So when we see this, we know that's wrong.
That's right.
So so the Mashiach is saying you're gonna be what? Blind leaders. He said, leave them alone. Read it again, brother. Read that again.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Declare unto us this parable. And Yeshua said, Are you also yet without understanding? Do you not yet understand that whatsoever entereth into the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the drought? But these things which proceed out of the mouth come from the heart, and they defile the man.
Okay.
For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts,
there we go.
murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man.
Wow. Now, so the Mashiach is telling you, now, I'm not the Mashiach.
Correct.
He said, well, what are you talking about? You're talking about adultery, fornication, because it didn't specify you would even sleep with your wife. Am I wrong?
That's right.
They just said you just need some sexual healing or something like that on the Sabbath. But see, those are the things. Now, when people read this, you might think about it. Yeshua ended this, we call it the exegesis. We can read it. It started out by the washing of the hands.
Mm.
See, some people think you can eat anything you want.
Mm.
You know, I eat pork, shrimps, whatever.
I wash my hands.
I wash my hands.
Food unclean, my hands clean.
My hands clean. Right. But he's not talking about, he was saying, look, this is spiritual, what you just read. You know, so he wrapped up, he concluded, it ain't about the washing your hands that defile you. It's what's in that heart.
You know something else? That's key. And you know what I was receiving?
Go ahead.
We always take this, a lot of times when we're taught that, okay, well, the doctrines of, like verse 9 says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Right.
And we'll give the connotation or be told, okay, well, that's just Christianity and Islam.
No.
Yeshua wasn't talking to no Muslims.
Exactly.
He was talking to the Pharisees.
Exactly. That's right.
They know the law.
Teachers of the law. They were the teachers of the law. So we sidestep that and try to overlook and say, well, no, we're talking about them Christians.
Right.
We're talking about this religion.
And
half of them, they not even on. They have a legitimate excuse. They under it's called the curse of blindness.
That's right. They have a curse of blindness.
But what's our excuse?
Right.
We ain't got none.
No.
See?
That's hard to say.
We read and talk about the sword from without, but that terror from within, man, that's worse.
That's it.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Issues from outside.
Exactly, because if you're teaching something, a doctrine that you can't support it in the law of Moshe and these prophets or the Mashiach,
that's right.
Right?
Who's the perfect example?
Perfect example. Then you, like you say, you're teaching the laws of men. And that goes back to tradition.
That's right.
You're teaching the laws of men, and you've established, you make sure your traditions of to follow.
Right.
We're going to do it like this. Well, what does the Mashiach say? What does Yahweh say? Is he speaking on that? Well, it don't matter. So, but again, you can fall into that spell of being led astray. You know, but woe unto the shepherds who what? Who destroy my sheep.
That's right.
You know, mislead them. So when we hear those things, people hear, what we want to do is to be able to shine a light on that type of conversation. We're not judging anyone, because we are not the judges, but we can, if we bring up, we can definitely say that's wrong, and we can say there might be judgment for you in that situation. That's right. Because you can, a lot of women are being taken. Women, if you that's what Paul, I think it's Paul. The law is good. If it's used what? Righteously.
That's right.
And used by a righteous man. But you can also use this word to do wicked things.
That's right.
And that's what we heard. That's what I heard. That's why I wanted to bring this to the brothers, you know, to your attention. And I'm glad that both of you saw it, and were able to probably do that. You know, around there when you first saw it, I said, Again, the marital bed is undefiled, but that's a whole different story when you separate for holy things.
That's right.
And the Sabbath, the weekly Sabbath today started last night. It's holy.
No self-control.
You gotta have self-control over that flesh. That flesh. But look at what the Mashiach said. Brother, would you just read that again? Verse 19. What comes out of the flesh? What comes out of the heart? Again, in Matthew 15, verse 19.
Okay. Let me start at 18.
Go ahead.
But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceeds evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man.
So Yeshua is showing us these are, if you know the 10 Commandments, the thou shalt not covet. See, that's the one that goes to what's in your heart.
That's right.
Right? You don't know. Only Yahweh know that.
That's right.
Only you and Yahweh know what you know. So when those things, your evil thoughts.
Right.
Now, and that could be anything. Evil thoughts. Murders. I want to kill that brother.
Right.
I'm so mad I can kill him. Well, you know what? You are a murderer. According to what Yeshua said. If it's in your heart, you just haven't carried out, but you are a murderer.
Right.
But this is talking about seeing something in this day and age, saying, yeah, I know you could do it, brother. You can do anything you want, but that's not right. And you can't, you can't use this book to tell me otherwise.
Right.
Praise God that we dealt with that. So with that, anything, I want to just bring that out. I'm glad you brothers touched base on it, and we were able to just to cover that. And again, we're the keepers of the house of light. And one of the things that before we get, I was reading out of my Zondervan's. Can I put it up here?
Yes, sir.
Can you see it?
Put it on.
My Zondervan's, I think it's a pictorial dictionary. Zondervan's pictorial dictionary. And I was looking, I said, well, what does it define the word light? I want to see what they define the word light as. And before I want to keep that in mind. So y'all, when we're talking about light, you got the resources in this country, in this world, to find out about things. I always want to read a little bit of this definition. Then we'll go to the class itself. But we're in the class now. But you know what I'm saying. It says light, and there's this Hebrew I can't pronounce or in Greek phos. And it says a number and a number of other words, the different definitions, denotes natural light that we can see outside the sun. Also used figuratively, Scripture pictures the coming into existence of natural light through the sublime command of Elohim, let there be light, as the initial step in the preparation of the world for vegetable and animal life. Now that's what they said, but we know when Yahweh spoke, the sun wasn't created until the second day or third day? I think the third day, but we'll correct it. But when he said, let there be light, that's the word. He put everything in order. It was set up. We said that in our first Sabbath class discussion in the creation. And it goes on to say, the origin and nature of light find an explanation in the nature and purpose of Elohim himself. The possession of light is one of the most remarkable and valuable blessings of this earthly sphere, without which life, as we know it, could not exist. So it says scientific studies of the nature, properties, and effects of light have only enhanced its wonders. Its crucial importance for life early led to the worship of the sun. See, people worship the sun. Akhenaten, ancient Egyptians, they worship, I forgot the name of the god that Akhenaten, the Pharaoh, worshiped, but it'll come back to me. But again, that's an example. And idolatry, condemned by Scripture, mention is also made of artificial lights as temporary substitutes of natural light, as the candlestick in the tabernacle. So it gives you so much of what a definition. It cites different scriptures and everything. But the light, we know, is through the Mashiach. He came among us, among our fathers, as prophesied, the light of the world.
That's right.
And they didn't perceive. Men didn't perceive that light. So Yahweh has given us a blessing to come here so we can continue to what? Shine that light. Put that light on the Father. Put that light on his anointing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you have to go through Yeshua or Yahashua, the Messiah. Nobody else.
That's right.
No one else. There's no other name. There's no other Mashiach. Right? People can, there's a lot of anointed.
Right.
Well, and Obi, would you go to Deuteronomy 18?
Yes, sir.
We're going to skip ahead. But let's go to Deuteronomy 18, verse 18. Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18. But this is, I just want, again, while the Spirit is moving, just to let you know about who is this Mashiach, so we can, you got that in his mind. I believe it is Deuteronomy 18.
Yes, sir.
And this is Moshe speaking. And Yahweh has spoken to him. And he's speaking to the people, right? And started at 16,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No problem.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 16. According to all that thou desirest of Yahweh, thy Elohim.
You know what? I should have just did it right. 15.
15?
Yes, right. I apologize.
No, you good. Yahweh thy Elohim will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him you shall hearken.
Okay.
According to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy Elohim in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahweh said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
You see how important that is when you talk about the Mashiach?
That's right.
In that verse 15, I will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren. So he has to be an Israelite, right? And we understand later on, he's going to be like Moshe. Unto him, he's going to be a deliverer. He's going to be a great prophet. He's going to be something. Ain't nobody been like Moshe until the Mashiach came. None of the other prophets can't say they were like him, right?
That's right.
So, and he's the mediator of the first covenant, Moshe, and the mediator of the second covenant is the Messiah, Yahshua.
That's right.
And then we get down here, you got to understand, if you don't do what the Mashiach say, man, your life is on the line.
That's right.
It's going to be required of you. Your life may be required of you. You may not have no eternal life dwelling in you. That's all we're saying. So when we talk about this light, this is the light. This guy, we've never seen him. I never heard his voice, but he speaks to us. The Father of lights called us to Yahshua, right? That's why we're here today. That's why we call ourselves the keepers of the house of light, because this is important.
Mother Shifra responded to you when you were speaking about the Egyptian. What was his name?
Akhenaten.
Akhenaten, yeah, she was saying it was Ra.
Yeah, he worshiped Ra. Thank you, my sister. Yeah, so, and that's what, and we know men stepped away from the light, from the Creator, and started worshiping the creations, beasts, idols. But our people, Yahweh created us and took us away from that.
Right.
So we shouldn't have no dealings with that at all. Any type of idolatry. We're holy people. We're supposed to be a nation of priests.
You think our people make idols out of men?
I do.
I think men worship is becoming an idolatry.
Yeah.
They put men on these pedestals.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Well, how can you have a false Christ without having that? Mashiach said, there are going to be many come in my name, saying I'm the Christ, this and this. So they have to be, in some way looking at what they're saying or what they're doing. But we know that there's not been anybody to have worked the works of our Adonai, Yahshua. Because he did it. He had a witness before all of them, raising the dead, healing the lame, forgiving sins, casting out unclean spirits. Well,
that's right.
If your Messiah can do those things, well, you might want to stay over there with him. If that man you're following, no matter. But if he's a man and he's teaching out of this book, well, and he's teaching the ways of truth and righteousness, stay with that.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Because you're being taught right. Okay? So I just wanted to touch base on that, my brother, because sometimes we get here and the Spirit moves us a certain way.
Right.
And that troubled me when I saw that.
Right.
But again, Yahshua, when you read the Gospels, when you're studying, they're going to say, is he that prophet? That's where they're getting this from. Speak to us. Tell us plainly. Are you that prophet?
Right.
That's where they're coming from.
Right.
They knew, the Jews, our fathers knew that was, they're looking for him. That's what it's all about.
Right.
So with that, again, praise Yah. Now we're going to get into the text of our class, which is from Abraham to Isaac, the covenant, part 2. Now, we're going to start this in the book of Genesis. I'm going to wait till our brother come back. Book of Genesis, chapter 26. And just as I stated earlier, we know in the preceding chapter, thank you, brother. In the preceding chapter, we know that, chapter 25, we know that we have now Isaac has his boys, Esau and Jacob. Mm-hmm. And we know in chapter 25 of the book of Genesis, Esau, you know, it's showing he was a vain man. I wouldn't say vain, but a fleshly man. Mm-hmm. And he sold his birthright to his brother, Jacob, for a bowl of, was it lentils? Mm-hmm. Pottage or whatever. Mm-hmm. He sold it. And now, your birthright is important because you know what? The birthright, if you're the firstborn, everything's coming to that firstborn son. Mm. The blessing, his father's, Isaac was his only, let's make it simple. Anybody, okay, Abraham had only one son, right? They said only one son, Isaac. But did he have another son? Yeah. Ishmael. Right. But Ishmael wasn't the appointed son. What's that again?
He got kicked out the family.
Yeah, kicked out the family because he wasn't, Yahweh had made it very clear. Your seed, that seed is going to come out of your loins, out of your bowels, and Sarai is going to bring it forth. That's right. That was it. So, but again, it's important. Abraham left Isaac everything, right? Mm-hmm. He gave gifts. He blessed Ishmael, right? And prophesied over him that he would be a great, it was prophesied, I should say, over him he would be a prince. Exactly. So and Yahweh would watch over him because he's Abraham's seed. Yahweh told him that. Right. But his wife Sarah told him, "You got to get him out of here." Nevertheless, so Isaac inherited all, and we know Abraham had married again after Sarah's death, Keturah, and he had what? How many sons? 6.
Correct.
And at some point when they got up a certain age, he gave them gifts while he was alive, and he sent them away. Mm-hmm. So the only legitimate, legal inheritor of everything he had, including that, and Isaac was blessed as well. Everything went on Isaac. Mm-hmm. So now here go Isaac with his 2 boys, Jacob and Esau, twins, 2 nations. When they were pregnant, Rebecca had problems. Yeah. I don't want to keep on talking, but I want to give y'all a little, if you've been following, you know where we're going. So, lay that foundation. That's right. So here we go with one of the brothers doing something very strange. Esau loved him for that venison he made. He loved that boy. He loved Esau. Right. That's the firstborn. Right? Right. But something wasn't right with old Esau. Right? That's right. Because just read Genesis 25, verse 34, brother Hosea. And you're going to see what by that action. Genesis 25, verse 34.
Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Okay, so that's what we left. He despised his birthright. Right. So now we're going to come in here to chapter 26 of the book of Genesis, and we're going to see this is our history. I know it's hard to believe to some people that black people in these Americas that have been scattered over here, we're the children of Israel. I'm sorry.
House of Judah.
We're the house of Judah. Levi, Benjamin, and Judah. We're the house of Judah. We are the children of Israel. We don't know, and I say this confidently, that it's kind of hard to explain that to a people who have been totally destroyed of history and knowledge of self. But that's okay. But guess what? Yahweh has brought it to this generation. He's brought it. You got to see the miracle. You got to see that Yahweh's working. So let's go ahead and go to the book of Genesis chapter 26. And Brother Hosea, will you just start it off, and we'll, I think that's a big chapter. Let me make sure if, let's keep on going, and if you want to, you might stop it, but just let me know. If you're ready to go, we can go.
Okay. Genesis chapter 26, verse 1. And there was famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham and Issac.
All right.
I'm sorry. There was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of Philistines, in Gerar, and Yahweh appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of.
Okay.
Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Let's pause right there. What do y'all think of that? Okay. Now, the God of his father, Elohim of his father, is talking to him from Abraham to Isaac.
Correct.
And confirming the oath.
That's right.
He made to whom? Abraham.
That's right.
Man, that's deep.
Very.
He's telling you. And, you know, and we know about Abraham. Abraham was a righteous man.
That's right.
He's righteous. He's obedient, right? He's obedient, man. We see it right there, verse 5. What y'all think of that verse?
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments. That's what we all wanted to be saying.
Exactly.
Good, well done, good and faithful servant.
Right.
I mean, like, if you always speak of me that highly,
right. You know, and we know he kept his charge because look at what Isaac doing, right? In line. He taught his house. He said, I know you're going to teach your house. I know you're going to do it. He already knew his friend Abraham was going to be about that business. He was going to be obedient.
That's right.
So praise God for this. But you see that oath equals a promise, right?
That's right.
And he said, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do to Abraham. You see, we got to understand Yahweh. You know that we're flesh. He works through that seed. You may not see certain things, but your children will see.
That's right.
You don't know. But if you teach them right, raise a child up in the way that they should go.
That's right.
And they should not depart from it.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about. And obviously, praise God for our forefathers, the patriarch, Abraham and Isaac. So again, that's Genesis 26, chapter 5. My brother was going to, he just read 5. Will you read 5 over and continue?
Yes, sir. Verse 5, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Praise God.
And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon.
Wait a minute. No.
You don't lie.
Come on now. I'm looking at this. You don't lie, but doesn't this sound familiar, brothers?
Right.
Does this sound familiar?
You know, a footnote too, though, in verse 5.
Okay.
You know, it says that Abraham kept the voice, obeyed rather my voice, kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. But the law wasn't written down.
Right. Right.
So it's interesting to see how Yahweh is like. Did he write it in his heart?
It was written in his heart because he spoke to him. Abraham was talking to the angels, man. They coming to his place when he go back to Lot.
Right.
When they was in Gomorrah.
Right.
He saw them afar off.
Right.
They came down.
That's right.
Go ahead. And Melchizedek. So Abraham is not your run-of-the-mill guy.
Right.
You know, he's something special.
Yes.
So whatever, I think we got to look at whenever Yahweh tells you to do something, that is law.
That's right.
That's right.
For your purposes, that's the law.
That's the law.
So if Yahweh tell you to do X, it's written to do X. That means keep my Sabbath holy. Don't do your own thing.
Right.
Going back where we just came from.
That's right.
What that mean?
Right.
Well, I want to have some pleasure today. All right. Don't do it.
That's right.
So Abraham obeyed Yahweh's voice in all things.
In all things.
He shemad.
He shemad. He listened.
You know,
he heard and obeyed. Hear, O Israel. Do this. And see, and these are big. This is. But now we see Isaac is in a similar situation that his father was in. Yeah. Abraham was in the same situation twice. Mm-hmm. And
same king.
And now let's go ahead now. And let's keep on reading.
Verse 8. And it came to pass when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife.
Okay, now you told everybody that was his sister. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Abimelech called Issac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidst thou, she is my sister? And Issac said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us?
Okay.
One of the people might lightly have lain with thy wife, and thou should have brought guiltiness upon us. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Issac sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him.
He's been blessed, right?
Praise Yahweh. And the man and the man waxed great and went forward and gave and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and a great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him.
Well, you know, his father, he already inherited his father's house, right? And all those things, and he's been blessed there, so he's getting more out of the blessing. But let's talk about Abimelech again. Abimelech is an interesting king, right? And I want to go back just a little bit so we can, because when we see these things, we have to think about it. We just gotta, as you said, we just can't read. We have to study, right? Yes. And so it's chapter 20, right? Yes, and since you are already, hold your place there, brother Hosea, and let's go to chapter 20, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's read, start in chapter 20, verse 4, okay. You see, in verse 3, because here, again, we've covered this before, but Abraham is giving Sarai and said that was his sister, and Abimelech, the same king we talked about, we just reading, has taken her to himself. That's right. And let's see, and I gotta wonder, I think Abimelech is a kind of righteous guy. But let's see. Let's go, brother. From Genesis chapter 20, verse 3.
Verse 3. But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Adonai, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation?
Okay.
Said he not unto me, She is my sister. I'm sorry. And she, even she herself, said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And Elohim said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me.
Oh.
Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her.
God get all the glory.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Now therefore restore the man, his wife, for he is a prophet.
He's a prophet.
Mm-hmm. And he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ear, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us?
Same thing, same question.
Mm-hmm. And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet, indeed, she is my sister.
Technically. Yeah.
She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife.
Okay. And I think we're going to pause there, and we can stop right there, because when the brother, you're up here, now we're seeing Abimelech, well, these laws of behavior were already among people in antiquity. It just did when we got the law about adultery. It just wasn't only with the children of Israel when it became a nation and got the law, because we already said earlier, Yahweh created, he spoke that light, he spoke light, that law, it was in men. It was in Adam. They had to promulgate or write everything down, but it was being taught. You know, and Noah had it, of that holy seed.
Many cultures practice oral tradition.
Exactly, my
it's
brother.
still famous in these to these times.
Exactly. So that kind of goes back to what you were saying, you know, that they knew about these different things. But nevertheless, it shows that Abimelech was not just running his mouth, because it said in verse 5, verse 6, he says, Elohim said unto him in a dream, yeah, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thine heart. So Yahweh, we said, well, I know my God know my heart. Well, yeah, he do know your heart. Right. In that point, but he said, but look, that heart of yours, that flesh can get over that in a minute. Right. I withheld you from that woman. That's the only reason you didn't go to Sarah.
That's right.
But then someone said earlier, you mentioned something about it's already in you. It's already before you come in this word. Yeah. You want to be able to lay with the women. You want to do what you want to do. It's already in you. I don't care if it's the Sabbath, the Passover. If my flesh say do this, I'm going to do it. If I got to slap a brother on the Sabbath, I'm going to slap him. Ain't nothing going to stop me. You know. So, but then again, that's showing you that heart ain't right. That heart ain't circumcised. You know. So there's some repenting needs to be done. There's some prayer that needs to be done. Because we don't want Yahweh to give us, like you said, give you over to that kind of mindset. That's right. And then you get cut off. You don't want to be cut off. But going back to Genesis chapter 6, we see Abraham's son Isaac in a similar predicament, same predicament with the same king, but the king peeped the situation. This is different. Anybody want to talk about that? Yeah. I want y'all because he went there and he had told everybody that she's my sister, and I guess it made it up to the king. But he looked out a window. I said, "Look at this here."
Yeah. He's sporting with his wife.
He's sporting, playing around. That girl.
Did he remember? Maybe he remember. You know,
brother.
That's an assumption.
But it's an assumption. But you got to look at it. When you have an encounter with Elohim like that.
See, that's what I'm. That's the point that I spoke to you.
Exactly. He remember.
That like verse 7. Yahweh don't threaten people.
No.
Like, he promised them. Like he told him, say, verse 7. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you.
And what?
And you shall live.
And you shall live.
Right. And if you restore her not, you shall surely die. You and all that are yours. Yahweh promised like, hey man. You don't do what I tell you.
Right.
You gonna die all your family.
I'm gonna kill everybody in the house. I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna kill everybody in the house. Everybody. Man, praise God. You gotta look at that and say, so I would think that would be something that Abimelech would probably keep on his mind. He's looking out for that. Right. He saw it, he said, wait a minute. I can't let this go on in my kingdom.
That's right.
See, we got to be the same way over our house. We got to look out them windows sometimes and see what's going on.
That's right.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm about. You know, you got to be about that business. You know what I'm saying?
Praise God.
So let's continue with that, brother.
All right. I'm going to read verse 12 again. Then Issac sowed in the land and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and great store of servants. And the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father. The Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. But Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham.
Okay.
And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Issac, because they strove with him. And they digged another well, and strove for that also. For he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. He called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now Yahweh has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And Yahweh appeared unto him in the same night, and said, I am Elohim, I am the Elohim of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and I will bless thee and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake.
Okay.
And he built an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahweh, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged a well. And Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzah, one of his friends, and Pico, the chief captain of his army.
So he's still alive. This is the same Abimelech, and he had the same chief.
That's right.
I know you about. I'm reading you out. I'm sorry. It's a long.
That's all right.
Good, okay.
And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come you to me, seeing you hate me,
Okay.
and have sent me away from you?
Right.
And they said, We saw certainly that Yahweh was with thee. And we said, Let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee.
Now they made a covenant with Abraham. Made a covenant with him, right? Because Abraham was the same way. He was too great. Get away from us.
They envied him.
They envied him.
Yeah,
and see,
right.
sometimes we may not have great material wealth in this land, but you're being envied because of the wealth of knowledge, that the light that's in you. Because sometimes people are going to see you, that light shining, and those with the right spirit, oh man, praise Yah for that, brother or sister. I need to talk to them. Where you studying at? What something about you. You know, you talk to them and say, well, I'm a Jew, I'm an Israelite, whatever you might want to say at that time.
Right.
And they say, yeah, I've been watching you, brother, how you handle your affairs. I've been watching you, sister, how you carry yourself. And that's bringing glory to Yahweh.
That's right.
Now, in that same instance, you may have others that know the same thing about you, but what? They don't like you.
Right.
They don't.
That's right.
They hate you.
Secretly.
They secretly hate you. And sometimes openly.
That's right.
But then again, those are the things, but hey, count that all what? Joy.
Praise him.
But continue.
Okay. Verse 29. That thou will do us no hurt, as we have not troubled thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good.
They know that God, I'm sorry to cut you off. They know that Elohim, this brother serving, is real.
That's right.
They know about his father. They see the blessing on him.
Right.
We don't want this brother to turn to his Elohim and pray about us.
Right.
Because he said, Abraham, he's a prophet.
He's going to pray for you.
I'm going to have him pray for you, and you're going to live. And we see that done later on in the book with Job down the line with his boys. They got on him. Now Job's going to pray for you.
Right.
I'm not even going to hear from you.
Right.
Job's going to do the praying. No, Abraham did the praying. See, so here, they're saying, hey man, let's work this out. Let's get a treaty. I love this. But it's the God he served.
That's right.
That makes the difference.
That's right.
I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Rest of verse 29. And have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of Yahweh.
Oh, that's right.
And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up betimes in the morning, and sware one to another, And Issac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. Okay. And it came to pass the same day that Isac's servant came and told him concerning the well which they have digged, and said unto him, we have found water.
Okay.
And he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took his wife Judith, to daughter of Beri the Hittite.
Okay.
And Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of the mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
Now that's interesting. You see that.
Very.
Because Rebekah, we know Abraham sent back to his father's house, Bethuel, Laban, his brother's house, Haran, I think, he went back, and right. Bethuel, was alive, and Laban and Rebekah was his children. Because he didn't want Isaac to marry, he didn't want a wife for Isaac of any of the people in Canaan, any of those nations there.
Right, that's right.
Right? And he didn't want his son, go get him a wife. And he sent his servant, who we believe it was Eleazar.
Right.
But, they don't say it specifically, but, that's his main guy. But he goes there, and Yahweh's with him. And he finds, right at the well, Yahweh sent her right there, Rebekah.
Envisioned exactly
the
how
vision came to pass. And that's why go back and look at last week's Sabbath service. You'll see it in that reading how all of Abraham's house, everybody, he circumcised them.
That's right.
They all worship Yahweh. And that brother got out there and started praying. He prayed in the name to the El of his master, Abraham's God.
That's right.
And he said, let it be like this.
Right.
Let it happen like this. For my master's sake. Man, before he could finish praying, it said, that's right. There come Rebekah with the water.
That's right.
Come on, man. This is, everybody would love to be the chosen people or the people of the book, but everybody can't go through what the people of the book have been through.
That's right.
You can't, we're still here after the worst slavery ever known.
That's right.
Ain't nothing ever been like that.
I mean, let's look at this month. They call it Black History Month, right? But look at what, is anybody even discussing history of or the antiquity of the people who were brought here as captives?
No.
I mean, there's so many distractions right now.
Right.
I think it's by design.
Exactly.
It's been a lot of distractions, especially this month.
Right.
It's falling off. I mean, I know at one time it was Black History Month and it was Black Achievement and, what have you. But there was some reflection upon the contributions that were made.
Right.
How the people who were brought here as slaves.
Exactly. But you got one rapper out here saying he wanted to say don't change it from Black History Month, make it Black Future. They're so blind and they don't want, they're willingly ignorant. They want to get out here and say anything they want to say without any knowledge whatsoever.
Right.
And it's sad that a people who have gone through all the things that we've gone, our forefathers came out of bondage. One thing that we need to study, our people came out of bondage. And in the South, there was some free, they've been freed in the South, some free population in the North. But when you look at education, our fathers did what no other people have done to this very day. Based on, when they came out, they immediately tried to get educated because they knew that they were being mistreated and they were going to be totally used up. Right. They didn't get that education. So you're looking at a exponential increase in literacy among so-called freedmen after slavery, and they went on to do even greater things. Right. While when you look at when you compare us coming out of slavery, and then you go to other parts of the world and continents, where they were just the peasants were still ignorant, still poor. That's right. But our people, they said, well, how could they do that? That Elohim was with them. That's why we can't forget our past, man. And we're going way back deep in the past right now in antiquity. That's right. To let you know where you come from, that you come from a blessed people, like the holy. You are of the holy seed. How about that? That's easier said. Now we're going to go into chapter 27. And now we're going to see something going on. You know, we know Esau has already sold his birthright, you know, and so, and this is a long chapter. So what I'm going to do, brother Obi,
Yes.
can you take this to verse 25?
Okay.
Chapter 27, verse 1 through 25. We're going to divide it up. We don't want to, and then brother Hosea, can you pick it up in 26?
Okay.
All right.
Just let us know when you're ready, Obi.
Praise God. Genesis chapter 27, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old, and I know not, behold, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore, take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison.
Okay.
And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
And venison is deer.
That's right.
He wants some deer. He wants some deer meat. He wants to prepare that deer, that venison, the way he do it right. He loves his son. He loves how his son prepares that meal for him.
That's right.
Praise God for that.
Praise yeah. Verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to his son Esau, his son rather. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before Yahweh, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth.
Okay.
And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, that he may bless thee before his death.
Hold up, wait. What does it say? Hold up, wait a minute. Stop that press. Hold on now. Now, we know. Come on, somebody else take it. So, Jose, what do you think about this? I need to hear it. I need to hear somebody else. What do you say about this now? What you just done read right there.
Right. Well, you know, it does appear that it's some gaming, it's some, some scheming going on.
Right.
But we know that this is Yah's will. We know that this was prophesied, from the beginning. In other books, it does go a little bit deeper in terms of Abraham actually speaking to Rebekah about the position that Jacob would take and not Esau. But again, that's other books. But we do know that this was Yah's will, and we also know that Esau had already sold his birthright.
Right.
So,
it's already done.
Exactly. It was
what you want to
already
do to bless it now?
Exactly.
He despised it.
He despised it. Exactly.
Lentils.
Right.
Right. I mean, this is like we talked about that last week. Yahweh didn't even put trust in him.
No, he didn't put any trust in him.
Before the children were born, he decreed, this one's going to serve this one, period.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
She inquired, why is my pregnancy so hard?
Exactly.
If I'm so blessed.
And you said it right there. She inquired, and the angel answered.
It answered.
So the angel came back and gave her an answer.
Right.
So,
That's right. So she knew exactly what she had to carry out.
Exactly.
Exactly. She knew this was going to happen. And I think these are the things we have to be careful about, sometimes imputing or our values or what our perception of what's going on. Understand, this is totally spiritual.
Right.
Yahweh, these people are being moved by God.
Exactly.
Exactly. And the angels are making sure certain things are going to go out the way they're going to go.
Exactly.
As we read, we're going to see that he ate the savory meat that was prepared. Right. It was goat. How he don't know the difference between goat meat and venison?
Right.
Well, Yahweh made there's a distinct taste now.
Yeah. That's gamey. Because that's a gamey, that's a domestic animal. and this is a wild animal in the field. But I guess
It's something spiritual.
I guess Rebecca was doing what she was doing. When she was doing, but she saw her opportunity. She knew that brother was on his deathbed, and he wanted, like, I want to eat what I want.
Right.
Let me have that. You're old, you're sick,
Right.
and you're gonna do. Hey, at this point, bring in what I want to eat. Let me have
Right.
it.
And this just really it kind of gives you an example, but it really kind of shows you can't judge spiritual things with a natural mind. So if you're looking at this naturally, then you're gonna miss it because it's spiritual.
Right, right. It's spiritual. You're gonna miss it. And that's why you gotta put that. You gotta be in the spirit when you open this book. That's why you just can't. Like, I've read it. Yeah, you can, but this is spiritual. And we said Yahweh is inexhaustible. I said Yahweh is he cannot be exhausted. If he doesn't want you to pick up on something in this book, you're just not going to get it. You're not going to see it. Right. And someone can come and show it to you. And you can. And we've been in those situations before.
Absolutely.
But we kind of talk to people and see this. And they'll read it.
But we didn't see an angel standing there blocking their eyes or got fingers in their ears.
Now, we didn't see that part.
You didn't see that?
Right.
Yeah, keep that discernment. Exactly. Let's keep on going. Where you at? Where we left off?
We just finished verse 10.
Okay.
Verse 11. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. And I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved.
Okay.
And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son, Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn.
Okay.
I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit, and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me.
Okay.
And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahweh thy Elohim brought it to me.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, he's old, but Isac's in his right mind.
That's right.
Yahweh's kept him mentally sharp. He said, Wait, man, that's a fast hunter. I saw you that morning. I sent you out, and you don't hit it.
But long to take for that pot
and to cook, everything. Okay. But look at his response. He knew how to respond back.
Yahweh, your Elohim.
Wait a minute. See that again? Read that again.
He said, Because Yahweh thy Elohim brought it to me.
Oh, no. That's deep.
That's deep. Verse 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
So he's suspicious.
But the mother knew. She knew that he was going to feel it.
He's going to fill him up.
But he was getting blind. So this makes sense.
It makes good sense.
I have a brother that I've been honored to be introduced to, that I deal with, and he's a brother that's blind, and he was explaining how he feels people or how he sees people.
Okay.
He touch the face, and I mean it's beyond explanation. Okay. I've been very humbled and honored to be in his presence. I've learned a lot just being in the midst of a brother. Right. Others would deem to be less and
that tactile touch.
Yes.
And you got those other senses that work, and now, but we know Yahweh's with Isaac.
That's right.
That spiritual thing just came to me. Why is Yahweh letting his servant, his covenant servant, be deceived? That's like you said, you can't look at it naturally.
Right.
Why is Yahweh letting this go down this way? It's going to get cleared up later on, but it is something interesting. Right. So Yahweh's in this. He's letting it go down.
That's right.
Verse 22. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Oh no, it's a deception, but that's deep. Let's go.
Verse 25. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank.
Okay. Well, he asked him for affirmative. He went through, he's in his right mind. The voice didn't sound right, but when he touched you,
I know it's Jacob's voice.
It's Jacob's voice. I know my voice. But the hand, how this doing?
I'm confused.
And then he asked him, are you sure? Are you sure you are thou? He said, art thou my very son Esau? He said, I am. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see how this thing plays out. Brother Osea, would you pick it up?
Yes, sir. Verse 26. And his father Issac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near, and he kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment.
Smart man, smart.
And he blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, which Yahweh has blessed.
There.
Therefore Elohim gave thee of the dew of heaven, and the fathers of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
So he said, give thee. Let me make sure, read that again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Verse 28. Therefore Elohim give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be master over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be he that blesses thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
But do you see how beautiful this is? Like it's like a theatrical situation. The minute he goes out,
There you go.
and Esau coming in, he got that blessing, he gone. And Esau coming in, and not Esau, but Esau's coming in. Okay, that's very smooth.
Verse 31. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn, Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, who? And brought it, and said, who? Where is he that has taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Right. So he's letting know right then, it's irrevocable. I can't revoke it. He will. I blessed him, and he will be blessed.
That kind of reminds me of Yahweh's words. Yahweh said, when I spoke the word, it's not going to return to me void.
That's right.
Accomplish what I said it out to do. He spoke it.
He spoke it.
It's out there.
He can't take back his blessing. It's like we say you're supposed to be a man of your word.
That's right.
See, I think that's a lost art now, right?
Right.
Many lost in these days.
It's gone. Brother can say X and come back, and I don't want to do that no more.
Right.
I don't want to fulfill that obligation. But the book tells us you need to keep your word even until you're lost.
That's right.
Man, I'm gonna lose out on something right now. I'm gonna lose some money based on the agreement. I didn't think it was gonna go that way.
Right.
I thought I was gonna profit.
Right.
But I didn't. But you're supposed to honor that no matter what.
That's right.
You made a vow. That's your word.
That's right.
So and we see our patriarch, our father Isaac, is saying, hey, right there, verse 33, I blessed him and he's going to be blessed. Now, let's see what Esau respond to that response is, brother Hosea.
Verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Yaakov? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved the blessing for me?
But that's not also. No,
that's a lie.
That's a lie. That's not the truth. Now Esau.
See?
Now the latter part. Yeah, he got you on that.
Right.
Now he got you.
Right.
But you opened the door to all of this because you what?
Gave away my birthright. Right. You despised him.
Yeah. Go. What is a birthright to me? I'm starving. So I'm paraphrasing. I'm gonna die. I'm starving. You're not starving. You just ain't no big deal. But now, sometimes we do this. This sounds like us right there. We'll sit there and know what we've done, and then you'll come back and try to say somebody took advantage of it.
You don't miss the water to the well run dry.
That's true.
That's right. That's right.
Now it's gone.
It's gone now.
So he said, "You got anything for me?" Now that's what he's asking. If you don't mind, continue, brother Lucia.
Verse 37. And Issac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy master, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and all the day and all the dew of heaven from above. But by thy sword thou shalt live.
Okay.
And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Yaakov.
Let's pause right there. And then the Mashiach said, when we went to the Gospel of Matthew 15, that out of the heart flow certain things. Murder.
That's right.
It's one of them, right? Now we see in this brother's heart, he got that, he's saying, I'm going to kill him. That's right. After this mourning period, I'm going to kill him. But Yahweh was in this from the beginning. That's right. Obi, would you hold there? Hosea, hold there. Okay. Obadiah, I will go back to the Genesis 25. Okay, just hold where we are. I'm going to read just to see that everything is taking place according to how it's supposed to take place, right? And this is when Rebecca, as you said, the angel came to her, right? But let's in Genesis 25, verse 21, and this is when she was barren for a minute, And Esau, verse 22, and Esau entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Verse 22, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. That's right. Now we see in that personality, we read further, we can see the kind of man Esau became, or is, and Yaakov. But she said 2 people, he says, 2 nations are in thy womb. And that's different from 2 people. That's right. That's going to be a lineage, a line of people. 2 different lines are going to come out of her. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. We just saw that now how it played out, right? Because the blessing, he's gonna be the master over his brother. Then it says, verse 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out, red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So Esau was the eldest.
That's right.
Mhm.
But verse 26 says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Yaakov. And Issac was 80 years old when she bare him, 60, I think.
60, that's
So we see that everything, like you saying, Brother Seal, like you saying, brother, these things all played out.
That's right.
Spirit. Now, I think that's something, I want to throw something out here. See, sometimes we are, where are we? We in chapter what, 20?
No, 27.
27, right? Okay, make sure I'm in the right place. Now, sometimes, this is for discussion or thought, what y'all think. Now, we have the benefit of being able to look over everything. Everything is written.
Right.
All the prophets have spoken. The Mashiach has come, right? He has fulfilled part of his purpose and ascended, died and ascended, and sits on the right hand of glory of Yah, right?
That's right.
Waiting until Yahweh make his enemies his footstool. We know that. The Gospels are written.
Right.
So we see the story. Praise Yah. We live in this time.
Right.
Where they say many holy men and righteous men, like Yahshua said, wanted to see the things you see. But we see them. So we're blessed.
That's right.
These are
Right.
exciting times.
These are exciting times, right? That's the, but now it's fearful, yeah. But you know, Yahweh's given us a guide. But what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to say this. Sometimes we think when something happens, we think we already know right now, presently, how it's supposed to work out.
Right.
Already.
Right.
Like we're in a book. It's written in heaven, but you don't know how this thing's gonna play out.
Exactly.
See, sometimes things happen, we think it's bad,
Right. Right.
but it's actually
It's for your good.
it's for your good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wise enough, not only say wise enough, but if Yahweh has mercy on you, he'll let you, if it happened when you were younger, you get older, you say, I see why, man, I could have been killed if I had kept down that rock.
Right.
But you know, my car broke down. I was gonna go meet them brothers, hang out at the club. And the shootout jumped out, but I wasn't there because my car gave out and they didn't want to pick me up. I'm just making up something.
Right. Right.
But you know my point.
Right.
And he's like, man, that messed up. But then that was a good thing.
Right. Right.
You know? I'm glad I didn't ask that woman to dance at the club or talk to her. Flesh said, go say something to her. But something interfered. I lost my wallet.
Right.
The next thing I found out, that guy, somebody in that guy, the guy, the woman's boyfriend or husband there, they don't shot and stab some other guy. That could have been you getting shot and stabbed.
That's right.
Or stabbed. Or both.
That's right.
You know, but see, she didn't know how this was going to play out then.
Right.
The elder's going to serve the younger.
Right.
She just heard him saying
Exactly.
he had his he blind, he's old, he's up in age, and she heard him. Why did she hear him then? She could have been in the next tent. She could have been out doing tending to some business.
Exactly.
Yahweh made her hear it.
He made her hear it. There it is. And she was doing, and she was fulfilling what was written about her. Because that angel that already told her, Yahweh already told her. So she knew, oh yes, I got to, we think she's intervening and doing something unscrupulous.
Right.
But, well, Yahweh, that's what Yahweh wanted.
Right. Put it in her to do.
If he didn't want her to, why would he allow her to hear it?
Come on now.
Right.
Why would let her hear it? Why would he go even tell her about this?
He would not hear it.
Exactly.
How would that played out?
Exactly.
How would it not? And why would he just tell her, this is what's going on? Two nations of people and two manner, da-da-da. This is it.
She felt like she was charged with this.
Exactly.
He said, my mother did, I'm going to turn my blessing to a curse.
Right.
She said, nah, that curse be upon me. You do what I tell you.
Exactly.
Right.
It be upon me.
That shows faith.
That shows faith. That the curse be on me. And you know Yahweh's not going to curse her. But that's what she said.
Right.
Oh man, when you begin to read this book and have a blessing to come in this type of platform and discuss things, and you can just see how the Spirit just open up, because we said we don't do things by a script. Whatever says is gonna be said.
Right.
But that's what the Spirit. Let the Spirit bring it out. We just gonna and I just look at how Rebecca, and we look back when Abraham's holy wife, our mother Sarah, told him, "This child shall not what? And be inheritance with my son.
Right.
And that grieved Abraham.
Right.
Cast out that bondwoman.
Cast her out.
He ain't gonna have no inheritance.
But Yahweh told, don't let this bother. Don't be worried.
Right.
Don't. Listen to your wife. Your wife too. Sometimes we gotta listen. Listen to your wives. Because that's y'all one flesh. You know what I mean? So sometimes you can't be sitting here, I'm gonna do what I want to do. See, wife told you don't do that. Wife said stay home. Don't make that investment. I had a bad dream about that.
Right.
I'm just talking. But then again, if you're dealing with your spouses according to knowledge, then you should be good. Because the Spirit is going to lead you to understand where she's coming from.
That's right.
Right? That's your wife, for example. So if you're dealing with her according to knowledge, at some point you're going to pick up on, she'll be saying stuff like this all the time. Hey, what you mean by that? Let's talk about that now. Hold on now.
Right.
I've been praying on X, and you just threw this out.
Right.
Honey, maybe we should sit down. Wait, tell me what you're talking about.
That's right.
So I can go back in here, maybe pray some more. And my wife don't say this.
Right.
You may not be as fast as Abraham with it.
Right.
But when he told Abraham was like, oh, he went straight to Abraham and said, don't you worry. I'm going to take care of the boy.
Right.
So, but here, brother Issac is not in that situation.
Right.
He's in a whole different situation. He's old. He's blind. Darn near blind. But
he's sharp.
He's sharp. So he's saying where we were, he's going to be blessed. And now he's been blessed. And we're at verse 41, right? We finished 41, right?
Yeah.
If you can read it again, that's fine.
All right. Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Yaakov. And these words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Yaakov, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, does comfort herself, proposing to kill thee.
Pause again. I got to stop you again. What did Brother Obadiah? This said, Esau said in his heart. Who told Rebekah?
Right.
These words were told Rebekah.
Right.
Praise God. So we already know.
It's spiritual.
It's spiritual.
Exactly.
Angel always say, get him out of here.
Right.
He's going to kill him. Is that something? It's right there in the book. But we got to slow it down sometimes. Even when we started on our own. Sometimes we got to slow it down. And I just saw that too, to be quite honest.
My elder, look at verse 35. When Esau came in, after 34, he came in crying. Oh, my father, you did the blessing, and he's bitter, and he's crying bitterly. The father just said, Isaac said, your brother came with subtlety to take away your where's Isaac? He didn't say, where's Jacob? Get him.
No, that's right.
Or where's the wife?
Yeah, somebody.
I didn't see no response. He was easy.
Right.
Your brother, he told him.
It's a wrap.
They talk about pillow talk.
Right.
Rebecca's his wife.
This is wife.
They communicate.
Right.
I mean, and I know my other brother alluded to it somewhat, but that's his wife.
Right.
And she inquired of the angel. The angel answered her. I'm sure she had this conversation with her husband.
Right.
Said, yeah. Honey, the angel's like,
I had experience.
Okay, you know she shared.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes,
it's not written, but we know that.
Yeah, let's have some common.
This is a wife. She knew the savory meat he loved.
Right.
She made that thing. He didn't even question. Oh, is this venison?
Venison.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it was Yahweh's doing from the start.
Yes.
Yeah. They just had to play their part, and they did.
Are we not all doing that? Yahweh wrote this story.
He wrote this, and we're doing it right now. When you're watching, somebody's watching Keepers of the House of Light. You're watching because Yahweh gave you the spirit to watch it.
That's right.
You don't know why you're watching. You say, I don't know. Let me turn them brothers on. And wherever else, you're attending the Shabbat service somewhere. You may not be watching us, but if you're keeping Yahweh's day holy, like you're supposed to, right? That's right. Well, that's what Yahweh wants you to do.
Yes.
Like this brother's here with us today. He probably had many places to be, but the Spirit brought him here to us to fellowship with us today. So all we can do is say, praise God, and just enjoy this meat that we're in. This is our food right now.
Yes, sir.
This is this meat. But you know, but I had to stop. He said, "Man, Yehuda, keep stopping me." But that was so. And the words were told to her, but we know he spoke it. He said this all kind of like when
Sarah.
There it is.
Right, exactly.
Say it again.
Exactly. She said, he said, I didn't laugh. He said, no, you did. You laughed. The angel had to tell Abraham,
Right.
you laughed.
You did laugh.
You did laugh.
So man,
but she did it in her heart.
In her heart.
Yes.
So we're an open book before our Elohim. So you may as well listen. If you are here doing it, you might as well confess your sins.
Right.
That's all we want.
That's it.
You might as well come on to the Father. If He's calling you to get to Yeshua, you might pronounce it Yahashua. If He's calling you to the Mashiach to get that baptism, to wash, to change up your life,
That's right.
to get out of that death walk, you know,
Right.
you know, and walk toward life. And you know, you might want to heed that because He got you watching the class discussion for a purpose. I can't tell you everything, but you may be getting watered here. We might be planting something here for you. You may get watered somewhere else. But Yahweh brings forth the what? The increase.
That's right.
So we don't take no glory in nothing. We just have to be in the vineyard. Praise Yah. Continue, my brother Hosea.
Verse 43. Now
What chapter are we in?
I'm sorry. Genesis chapter 27, verse 43. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, in Haran.
Right.
And tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turns away. Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you, both in one day? And Rebekah said to Issac, I am weary of my life. I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Yaakov take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me?
Okay. So, man, this chapter ends with they already, I think it began it with in the last chapter, chapter 26, in verse 34, it says Esau was 40 years old when he took a wife, Judith, the daughter of the Beri, the Hittite, and Bathsheba, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were grief of mine unto Isaac and Rebekah. That's in 26. It ended. And it also ends here in chapter 27 with Rebekah saying the same thing about she hope her son Jacob don't do the same thing.
Right.
Because I might as well die. I'm getting tired of my life. You know, what time are we looking at, my brother?
Oh, we had like 1:40. About 1:50. 10 minutes to 2 hours.
Okay, we're good. Okay, but you know, and so when we see these things, that again, it's all Yahweh. It's all the Spirit. You think it's by accident? He sent her. She sends him to Laban, her brother. You know what I mean? Her father's house. You're going back to Laban. That's her brother, right?
That's right.
You go run over here. But that's where Isaac wanted. That's where Abraham wanted Isaac. That's where Abraham sent his son, servant, to get him a wife.
Right. And Laban blessed her.
And Laban blessed her.
When she was leaving out,
It's like,
be the mother of millions.
Millions.
May your children rule over their enemies.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, it didn't go the same way that Isaac went to back to the land, to Laban, back to his father's house.
Right.
You know, but for to get a wife, Jacob's on the run.
That's right.
But he's going where Yahweh wanted him to go. He got to go. He doesn't want. Yahweh's not going to allow him. This is the holy seed. It has to be the way Yahweh wanted it to be done.
Right.
You know.
The other thing I was looking at, we don't read of. We know it's not written, but was there any contention between Rebekah and Isaac after this
You know, now, I was actually going to ask that. I was asking, you know, in verse 46, was she telling Isaac that I can't have him take one of the wives of the land here? So was she telling Isaac this is the reason he's going away? So did Isaac even know that Esau was planning to kill him, and that's why she was telling him to leave? Or was she making Isaac believe he was leaving to find a wife amongst their people? I just kind of caught this for the first time
right,
to see that if he even knew that Esau was coming to, was planning to kill him after his death.
See, there's things that's not written.
Well, it's not written, but we go up there at 41. We know Esau. We know what he's done to him.
Exactly.
So we know that. So he's going to get it. We know that part. Go ahead.
No,
yeah. So we know that's going to happen because she knows Esau's going to kill him. And then in verse 45, she says something kind of strange there too. In that last verse, she says, you read that somebody,
Why should I be deprived? Okay.
Yes.
You're talking about 45.
Yeah, 45.
Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him, then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day?
I think when you first mentioned, was there some kind of conflict from his mom? That kind of, in my reading, just reading, and I have to probably research that more, but that seems like she's saying, well, then she wraps it up. Well, he got that Hittite, unclean woman of another nation.
Right.
So she's like, what is she saying? I think she's saying that there's some contention, that he has broken her heart by marrying, So I'm like, it's like, can she even deal with him anymore like that? I don't know if deal with him is the proper word, but there's some strain that she's, I don't know.
Right.
But I'm following what you're saying. But now when you tell him to get out of town, I think it's for that purpose. You don't give him heads up too, huh, Mom? Mom, you don't get all this. Well, does he know that his mother?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Exactly. Does he know that his mother was behind it, and that's why she lost him?
Right.
And then did she, it's like you said, the book doesn't necessarily say.
Yeah, that's right. I follow you.
But we're going to follow it in the next chapter. If we read the first verse of 28, we see that Isaac calls Jacob, and he blesses him again. Orderly, and this it's like, I already know it's you. Honestly, So they had to have had this conversation,
right? At this point,
I mean, the shot, she had to have communicated this to him because he didn't despise Jacob. He turned around and blessed him again.
Exactly. and he wasn't there going to touch that boy while he was alive. While Isaac's alive,
right?
But you know what happened.
Exactly.
You going down to open the lake of fire for you right now. So he's cool. Jacob's cool right now. But there's a time frame. We don't know how the time frame that they jump out the door.
Right.
Was it the next day? But you're right. There is some strain going on. But since we, what time we got right now, brother?
We got about 7 minutes before we go on.
Okay, because we don't want to hold everybody too long. But I think this is let's go ahead and start it off. Obadiah, you want to start it?
Yes, sir.
In chapter 28 in the book of Genesis.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 28, verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Pandan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. He honored what his wife came to.
That is.
They had this conversation. She reasoned with him like, look, hey, he needs to go.
He got to go.
Like, the angel told her, man, 2 manner of nations are in your womb. She spoke these things. She was going to hide that from her husband?
Right.
He's blessing this son, and she knows that once he blesses him, this blessing is going to come to pass. She knows who she's with.
Yeah.
And so she speaks this to him, and he tells his son, you go do what
your mom said.
Everything she said.
Right. Go right over that to him. Go right to, that's right there in the first.
Brother. Go,
right.
Verse 3. And El Shaddai bless thee or Elohim Almighty,
Mm-hmm.
and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people.
There it is again, that blessing.
And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which Elohim gave unto Abraham.
So now it goes back to that Abrahamic covenant.
Mm-hmm.
It was made with Abraham. Abraham did it all.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, inherited that blessing, that covenant, and he ratified it. Now it's Jacob. From Abraham to Jacob. The covenant. Part 2. That's the name of the class. Continue to read, bro.
Verse 5. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Pandan Aram unto Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him away to Pandan Aram to take him a wife from thence, and that he blessed him and gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Pandan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. And Jacob went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place, and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place, and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Elohim ascending and descending on it. And behold, Yahweh stood above it, and said, I am Yahweh Elohim of Abraham thy father, and the Elohim of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, Surely Yahweh is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, How dreadful is this place! This is none other but the house of Elohim. And this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahweh be my Elohim. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be Elohim's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the tenth unto thee.
Praise Yah. So there's a lot of information right here. Anyone want to talk about any of this? What we just read in chapter 28, particularly when we see that the class is entitled From Abraham to Isaac, the covenant part 2. Now, you see that covenant, that promise is being transitioned or has been given to Jacob. And you see these spiritual things that are in play where Yahweh confirms it with them. It's unambiguous that Yahweh is with him. So anybody want to, I'll just open it up to anything here.
I'm looking at verse 8, and it says, and Jacob, verse 7 says, Jacob obeyed his father and mother, and was going to Pandan Aram. It says, and Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau into Ishmael, and took unto him wives which he had. Now, is that him being even further rebellious? I mean, did he just do this do this out of spite, where he knew he wasn't pleased with the Canaanite wives? So now I'm gonna go get Ishmael wife, or did he think he was doing something right? And the reason I say that is because it goes back to the heart. And like you said, the heart, his heart seemed like the heart was wicked. You despise your birthright. You despise the integrity of the family. So that would make sense. Jacob, who I loved, Esau, who I hated, before they were even born, because he knew
that's where we're going.
That unrighteous heart, that wicked heart that was in him. That's why you didn't have it. That's why he had to give away his birthright.
He wasn't worthy of it.
Right. He had to give it away. He felt he was starved.
It had to go that
right.
way.
It had to go that way. Right.
He was the eldest son. And
right.
according to the tradition, the eldest son received a double portion. He was supposed to receive that.
Right.
Exactly.
A double portion. That's right.
He was supposed to receive that.
Right.
But is Yahweh bound to his law?
No.
Because Yahweh said, "Now this is how I want it to go."
Exactly.
Exactly. And I'm the author. I adopted the story. This is how I want it to go, and this is how it's going to go. Essentially we're characters. We're actors playing our parts.
That's right.
And the roles that we've been given, we didn't choose them.
Right.
We got a script. The scripture.
Right. And what Yahweh says, he makes a great house. There's vessels of honor and dishonor. And before, and it goes back to what the Mashiach said about the man that was blind, and who sinned? This man. What is that? Who sinned? They go John 9. Go to John, Gospel of John. Yes. The Gospel of John, chapter 9. And would you start that out, Hosea? And while I'm thinking about it, because we don't know what the spiritual influences that are on us. Like we were saying, we don't know. We don't control nothing.
That's right.
In a way, we don't know. We wake up in the morning and say, "I'm going to go X, I'm going to do Y," and then something else happens.
Right. That's right.
And then we got to go and do this. We didn't even think that was gonna. We woke up Thursday morning and war was going on.
Right.
The war had started, right? With the Russians and Ukraine.
That's right.
We didn't know. No, we knew there was some border that was building up to something, but who knew? Right. We woke up to now next Thursday, we don't know what could be going on. That's right. Next Thursday, y'all will. But this is kind of show you where we're all in. Yahweh gets the glory how he wants it to be done. And if let's look at that Gospel of John, chapter 9, verse 1.
Okay. John, chapter 9, verse 1. And Yeshua passed by and saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yeshua answered, Neither has this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Elohim should be made manifest in him.
Right.
I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That's right.
When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made the clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Shalom, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were thy eyes opened? He answered and said, A man that is called Yeshua made clay, and anointed my eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Yeshua made the clay and opened his eyes.
Praise God. And, if you read the rest of this, you're going to see, in my opinion, when I look at it, it's like one of the greatest testimonies that I love reading this, and you got this brother, they're going to bring him before the Sanhedrin and ask him over and over about the what happened to him and how he got that, how he was healed. But just for the sake of, brother, you know, and he's going over and they can't believe it. They bring his parents in there. They do everything. But Hosea, just pick it up at verse 22. They got his parents. Let's just see how. Let's go ahead and do it. I love this. I got to do it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews. For the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the Mashiach, he should be put out of the synagogue. Therefore, said his parents, he is of age, ask him. Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, give Elohim the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, whether he be sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
Then they said unto him again, what did he to thee? How opened he thy eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and you did not hear. Wherefore would you hear it again? Will you also be his disciples? Then they rivaled him and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. And know that Elohim spoke unto Moses, as far as this fella, we know not from whence he is. The man answered and said unto him, why herein is a marvelous thing, that you know not from whence he is, and yet he has opened mine eyes. Now we know that Elohim heareth not sinners.
That's right.
But if any man be a worshiper of Elohim, he doeth his will, him he heareth.
That's right.
Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of Elohim, he could do nothing.
They get ready. Now you're messing. Now you're challenging you challenge my authority.
Exactly.
I got all this education.
Exactly.
I'm the teacher. I'm the Pharisee. Wait a minute now, buddy. You don't want to look too far.
Right.
Let's see what they're going to say. Now he don't say one thing too many to him.
Step on the toes.
You don't step on the toes now.
Yep. They answered and said unto him, thou was altogether born in sin, and dost thou teach us?
Wow.
And they cast him out.
Throw about the synagogue.
Yahshua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, dost thou believe on the Son of Elohim?
Let's pause right there. I love this gospel, this chapter, this incident. Now Yahshua already met him, and that was he's supposed to get his sight back.
Right.
So Yahweh would be glorified, and the Mashiach would be glorified.
That's right.
That was the reason he was blind. He was born blind just for that purpose.
Exactly.
And they found fault. So a lot of times we don't know why we're going through something or why things happening. But Yahweh may have something else in place.
Absolutely.
You know, he did his thing for him. Spit on the ground, you know, put the stuff in his eyes, and told him to go wash. He said the sight came back. Got his sight.
The brother was blind. Nobody was joyful. Hey man, you can see.
Right.
Yeah. That's a miracle.
That's a miracle. It's a miracle, Obi. But that testimony, when he was being drilled, he got his vision. He's being his mom. They bringing everything at him. Bring his mom and dad. They coming at him. He said, man, and then he started speaking that word. We know that Yahweh, the spirit on that brother.
Right.
That's what I would say. Spirit on him to make him safe. Look, we know Yahweh don't hear the prayers of sinners. And we know that. If you turn your, if you turn your eyes from the law, if you turn away from the law, even your prayers are an abomination of Yahweh. Right? So this brother, he's a Jew. He has some understanding.
Exactly.
So he's like, just broke it down to the point they threw him out. But the beautiful part of it is in verse 35, and we got to understand, Yahshua heard about it. He did what?
They don't kick you out.
They don't kick him out. My boy, the one that is vision, the one I just healed. What? And then what Yahshua did? He went and did what? He went and found him.
That's right.
Let me go talk to this brother.
You got 100 sheep.
That is.
You know, I mean, like,
I just look at that.
That's that sheep.
That's that shepherd.
I'm gonna go. That's that good shepherd. I'm gonna go to this brother, and brother, read what he said again in verse 35. And we're in John 9, verse 35.
Says Yeshua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, Dost thou believe on the Son of Elohim?
Continue, bro.
He answered and said, Who is he, Adonai, that I might believe on him? And Yeshua said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. And he said, Adonai, I believe, and he worshipped him. And Yeshua said, For judgment I am come into the world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees that were with him heard these words, and said unto him, Are we blind also?
Okay.
Yeshua said unto them, If you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say, We see, therefore your sin remaineth.
So this thing is so deep. That thing's so deep. So I would love for Yeshua to come looking for me. That brother got healed, and then he got that salvation. He got it. He got the words of life.
That's right. That's right.
Master, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm he. Oh, tell me who it is so I can worship you. But now guess what? You said this earlier. You intimated it, Hosea. In verse 41 puts it right in perspective. If you were blind, you should have no sin. Because you don't know better.
Right.
You're lost.
Right.
We got lost people out here. They don't know any better when they're dressed in certain ways, when they're acting certain ways. Now, some of them are doing wicked things.
Correct.
Murder. Now, they know about that. They know murder is wrong, because we live in. But there are certain things that the people just don't know. They don't know they shouldn't be worshiping on the first day because they've been taught.
Right.
That's what you should do.
Right.
But Yeshua said, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say we see, therefore your sin remains. So going right back to the beginning of our discussion, when we were talking about that sex on the Sabbath.
Correct.
You're supposed to know. Now, if you in this word, now you're supposed to know. You've been washed in the blood of the Messiah for remission of sins.
Right.
And what is sin?
Transgression of the law. That's right.
So you should know.
Right.
So you're not blind, right? You're saying you got sight. You're teaching others. So guess what? You got that sin on you.
Right.
You still got some filthiness on you that you need to repent from.
Right.
That's what Yeshua said. Don't worry about the brother that was in fact physically blind. I don't dealt with him. But y'all sit up here, y'all say the Pharisees, we blind. You hear them now? Hey, we blind also, man.
Right.
See,
We blind man too. They heard him. Well, I guess we blind too, right?
Right.
Hey,
that's an excellent point you make, Elder, because when you go to verse 22, it says
22 where?
in chapter 9,
Okay.
Gospel of 9,
Okay, gotcha.
John 9, it says, these words spake his parents because they feared the Jews.
Oh, okay.
For the Jews had already agreed that if any man did confess that he was the Mashiach, he should be put out of the synagogue. Look, I mean, they already had this.
They're going to do it.
Right.
And he confessed it.
This is the wickedness that was our fathers got.
Exactly.
You know, we read in the prophets where they said, man, Israel, they said, Jerusalem's a cauldron, and we the flesh. Y'all can't do without us. Y'all was okay. I'm going to get y'all about the land of the land enjoy Sabbath, man.
Right. Exactly.
Our fathers were high-minded in this, man.
Right.
Exactly.
We see that in these days and times, just like when you came with the beginning of the topic.
Right.
Where's this mindset coming from?
Right.
They want to model. Yeshua magnified the law and made it honorable, but they want to dishonor the law and mock the things that Yeshua did. These are not liberties. This is just your personal vain flesh. You just want to do as you please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so we look at this thing. That's why we're here to, like Yeshua, when you're blind, you ain't getting no light. There's no light getting back there to the retina, so you can't see.
Right.
It's about that light.
Right.
That's that physical light. Now we're talking about where you're blind literally, but you're blind spiritually. And if you ain't getting no light, well, how deep is that darkness in you? That's why this word, Yeshua's words, are so incredible and so important at this time. You know, It's not about, we're not here to glorify ourselves. You know, it's about to glorify our Father, so that you can be edified, that, you know, those who are walking in the way, but to stay in the way, but more importantly, for those lost sheep. He just left that, but Yahshua went and found him.
That's right.
He's been found. So there's a lot of people here, they got righteousness in them. They just don't have the knowledge.
There you go. That's right. There you go.
You might think they ain't nothing, but they know more. They got Yahweh's in them. They just got that spirit's in them. They just need to hear this word.
Right.
To get that knowledge. So be careful what you say to people.
That's right.
You don't know who one of Yahweh's people.
That's right.
They'll be up there, and before you know it, I thought you was the bum on the street, and you walking through here a priest in the kingdom. But what are you begging money? Or it could be an angel you're talking to.
That's right.
And you just walk past him and call him a bum.
That's right.
So
Great point.
I think we've come to our mark in time.
Yes,
So at this point, I'm going to conclude the Sabbath class discussion for today, and it was entitled From Abraham to Isaac, the Covenant Part 2. And you know we got into Jacob as well, and we moved a little further. But and next week we will be picking up this beautiful history and story of our people, where Jacob will be going to Laban's, his uncle Laban, and there Jacob is going to experience some things himself in that situation. So we're going to stop the formal class right now, and I'm going to just open it up. Any comments, and I'm going to give our brother Hosea anything he want to say about the class, or anything on your mind about anything that you want to talk about or say before we wrap up, my brother.
Well, you know, first, I won't be long-winded. I want to first just, you know, thank you, brothers, for, you know, allowing me to come and study with you, brothers.
Praise God. Praise God.
Nothing but love.
Welcome anytime, man.
Anytime.
You know, one of the things that we did bring up when we were talking about spiritual things, and you can't really see spiritual things with a natural mind.
Right.
You know, you have to have the belief, and this is the belief comes from Romans, 8:28, where Paul said, all things work together for the good of those who love Yah and were called according to his purpose. So when you're called into this walk, then your spiritual, keeping that armor on, your spiritual sword, everything gets sharper as that faith increases. And that faith increases that no weapon formed against me is going to prosper. So whatever it is I'm going through, Yahweh's going to make it work for the good. And I may be suffering while I'm going through it, but if it's benefiting someone else that Yah is trying to, then Yah receives the glory. And it's all about that fervent faith and just really knowing that whatever. So even this situation that we're in right now with Russia, with Ukraine, I don't know if this is that actual, Jeremiah 51.
That's true.
But I know this. All things work together for the good of those who love Yah.
Praise
So
God,
you in this word, stay steadfast, stay faithful. This is really, again, this is a time of great hope for us as people. It's a time for us to be really gathering one another and showing love much as we can amongst our brethren, and just really, continue to be faithful and continue to be strong. Because a lot of people are looking at us right now. We've been talking about this for years. They may not come and say, well, ain't this what you was talking about? They know it. So, it's just time to be about that hope that we were trying to tell them when they see us steadfast and strong. Not braggadocious either. Not, this is what I've been telling you. This is what I've been trying to, that's just going to push them further away. But just love, you're all right. You're all right. That's all I just want to share.
Praise God.
Definitely appreciate being
here. Oh, brother. Thank you for that, man. Brother, praise God.
He dropped the mic.
He don't drop the mic. He don't drop the mic. Walk on. He's a rap. Shabbat Shalom. He closed the book. He just closed the book up. Shabbat Shalom. See you later, homie.
I'm not going to add.
Praise God.
I'm honored that my other brother came and fellowship with us. And, for the people tuning in, we just ask that you continue to share, continue to check out what it is that we're doing, because it's not about us. You know, it's like what my elder brother always says, we are the keepers of the house of light, and and our mission is, this is what he explains, we have purpose, and so we're trying to fulfill our purpose. So Yahweh receives all the glory and all these things. So
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'll leave it there, man.
Also, new moon.
Oh yes, forgive me. We have new moon this Thursday or Tuesday night. So please tune in. We're going to be dealing. The class is going to be called Signs of the Times. Signs of the Times.
Great job.
Everybody's
Great
looking
job.
at this wardrobe.
Yeah,
They
let's
trying
talk
to beat
about
it.
yes, sir.
We're going to talk about some things.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Yahweh's in control of all things.
Great job. Hey, great job.
Fret not.
Hey, don't fret, don't fret. You know, and I'm blessed to be in the presence of these brothers. Our brother Uriah had to step out, and praise God, leave him and just watch over him. And we're just thankful for this Sabbath, and I'm glad that you guys have tuned in to keep the Sabbath with us. And with that, I'm just going to say Shabbat Shalom. Keep this day holy, and Yahweh be with you.